So the first question is, how many people do we need roughly to stay functional as a nation state? I could say that we could run a nation at least 5 members. That's obviously the structure would be a lot different, and we wouldn't really have a council. It would probably just be me as the leader, and then just 4 members. Uh, and I'm hoping I'm understanding this question correctly. Uh, the Hockey and Remnants was able to operate between 5 to 8 members, and we were able to stay functioning. Uh, so as of right now, we have about 14 to 15 members. I shouldn't say active, but just members that will either be joining or returning for the post reset. So we'll have a very sizable group. I believe the United Federation of Planets said that they're going to have about 10 people. So Luxivitas will definitely be bringing the largest group of players in a single nation, and so that's we're gonna have a huge advantage. And on top of the fact we will be working with the UFP, that's about 20 to 25 members uh, who are gonna be working together as a group one way or the other. So we'll have a huge advantage compared to every other nation group, just by members alone. How do we decide which planet everyone will be on? When the reset occurs, we'll be finding suitable planets that will support the nation. Ideally, the fewer worlds we can be on, the better. At most, I would like to try to stay on 5 planets across at least 2 star at the most. I mean, at most 2 star systems. Ideally, only 1 star system. Uh, the world, and actually, I'll save what I was about to say for a little bit later because I know there's a question later on that's gonna reference what I was about to say. And how will we gather lots of resources like we have now? Hard work and dedication from the members. It will be a long while, whether that be weeks, if not months, before we are considered wealthy by any means. Uh, to get a nation in the post reset world to where Luxivitas is now in terms of wealth will take a really long time. But hopefully, we can do it in a much more organized fashion, a much more controlled fashion, and where we can actually access the resources we need to when we need to. Uh, this also means that because of our limited wealth, our early military will have to be more focused on starfighters and gunships, with maybe a handful of either frigates or destroyers, uh, maybe 1 or 2 of those ships, just because we're not going to have a very large economy and we're going to be focused on trying to develop the economy. However, we will have some sort of military, so then if need be, we can at least defend ourselves. How soon will we grow potatoes? The moment we can find them. Potatoes are the best food source on the server, in my opinion. When is the reset? August. I would love not to hear this question again. It's kind of annoying. It's been stated by myself, by members, by the server owner. August is the projected date. You will be notified countless times, whether that be in the server Discord and this Discord. You will be notified when the reset is coming near, so then everyone's on the same page. That information will come out when that reset is near. So just stay calm. What is the nation's name? Yet to be determined. It'll be determined much closer to the reset once we have basically all the members that we know will for sure be joining the nation post reset. That is when we'll vote on a new nation name. Uh, and so, yeah. Concerns. Won't the plan of holding land on only small number of planets cause us not to have good access to a large number of resources? So I kind of explained this in the first question a bit as well. But we will be working with the UFP to help explore new worlds and to figure out which worlds will work best for our nation. And this will process won't be overnight. This will be over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, if not more. So it may take us a while to figure out a good world for the capital world to be on. So this is more of a long-term thing than a overnight thing. So this is just something we're gonna have to work for over the course of time. Salary. Uh, Payments won't be a thing for quite a while in the nation. Once the nation's economy stabilizes and is slowly increasing, starts becoming larger by the day, the leadership will determine the budget that the nation has, and slowly will create jobs with pay. In terms of salaries, will be a gray area. Uh, Anything will be more like a paycheck more than a salary. Uh, for those of you who are younger and may not understand uh, the difference between like a salary and a paycheck, a salary is this is how I understand it at the very least. A more adulty adult can correct me later. Uh, but a salary is the set amount of money you will be earning for that year. A paycheck is more or less based off of how often you work. Uh, and obviously salary and paycheck will vary from job to job in the real world, but that's my understanding of how salaries and paychecks differ. And it looks like Dutch either will be okay. So yeah, so I was kind of along the right tracks. Dutch just kind of added on that salaries is kind of based off the contract that is just kind of based off of the contract that you signed as well as all your jobs combined. So yeah, no. So okay, I guess I was kind of confusing my terms a little bit in terms of well, the idea is there. The idea is there. Uh, but in terms of uh payments, uh, you're probably gonna be paid based off of the work you do. So an example would be for a shipbuilder, instead of being constantly paid uh, for being a shipbuilder, you'll be paid per time you build a ship that's been contracted by the nation, uh, or whenever you update a ship's. You obviously won't be paid as much for updating a ship, but you will still be paid for putting in that effort to update a ship. Uh, Ozier asked if you just farm potatoes and go mine, how much can I get? Who knows? At first, it will be nothing. You will be expected just to give all your resources to the nation to help the nation build. Uh, but that's something a lot of everyone will have to do. You know, that's something where it'll be very much so like the Tranquil Collective, which Dutch will remember, where everyone is kind of farmed and mined, threw it all in a chest, and allowed the nation leaders, specifically myself, to then distribute those resources as need be throughout the nation. That's how it's gonna be. You know, no one's really there. That's that's how resource management will work in the post reset in the early times. And yes, we will be working with the UFP to seek out new worlds and all those sort of things. All right, moving on. We won't be offensive enough to other nations and will get trampled on by them because they will mostly focus on their military. So I've already kind of talked a lot about this already. earlier on. So and I'm a very strategic person. I love my strategy games, and something in every strategy game that I always focus on the economy first. Because without a stable or powerful economy, there won't be a very stable or powerful military. So the economy has to come number one. The economy will be priority, no matter the scenario. There will be very few scenarios where the military will take priority, but more often than not, the economy will be focused on the most. Military will be the second in line for, well, it would go economy, infrastructure, which is kind of tied in with the economy, and then military. While military is at the bottom priority list in terms of resources, I will make sure that a that the military does have ships available for combat. That is something I will ensure happens, just so that we can defend ourselves. Uh, so yeah, no, so we won't have to worry about entirely about being uh, having mass genocides being executed upon us. Uh, but one doesn't have to be aggressive to show dominance. That's the big thing. Uh, that's kind of the feel I get from from the concern is that we have to be offensive, otherwise we're gonna get trampled, and that's not the case. I mean, look at Aegea. Aegea is far from aggressive. They're the polar opposite, and they don't get trampled. No one actually picks a fight with them. And that's something that we can still do, and it's just whether or not how willing the members are to do it. Uh, and this is going to be the one concern that will probably be brought up the most compared to every other concern. And I'm willing to debate this concern slash question however much we need to. But this is, but I'm very stern. Well, I shouldn't say stern. I'm very grounded on my opinion that I have of this particular concern, um, where I want the nation to be as neutral as possible. We will fight wars. We will defend. We'll help defend those in the defensive pact. We'll help other smaller nations. And yeah, and Dutch does bring up a good point that is that Luxivitians historically, for literally since the moment our nation was created to present day, uh, members of this nation have been not very well favored. And Dutch, you are not that hated at all. I'll tell you that much. You are not hated at all. Um, but it's that's definitely something we can't avoid as easily. Though it's definitely something we can improve upon. There are a lot of ways we can go about avoiding uh, a lot of dislike. We can definitely adopt what the USS did. USS referencing old Oblivion from back in 2017, 2018, is that Oblivion never talked in chat, in global chat. They never talked in global. They were silent. Whenever they went into battle, they were silent. Whenever they were coming out of battle, they were silent. They just never talked at all. Um, and this gained them a lot of respect because they didn't brag about winning. They didn't talk about winning. They didn't talk about losing. They didn't talk about any of that. They just did it and went on. That is definitely something that I've seen Luxivitians do is debate heavily with uh, the losers of a battle that they won, and how they actually won and not lose the battle. That's where that's an issue that's gonna have to be addressed post reset, where we just can't be doing that. Period. If I see that, if that gets reported to me, I will put an end to it. I don't want to see us gloating about our victories because we will have our defeats, but let's just not be prideful about the victories we do have, you know. Let's keep that to ourselves. Let's celebrate that within our nation. Let's internalize that victory. But let's just not make it global. Let's just not allow the whole world to know, hey, we won this battle. And fear us, we won. Uh so yeah, no. So that's kind of the whole basis with this. I know I probably didn't address every little niche with this issue, but this is definitely an issue and concern that I'm willing to talk about a lot more because it is something that I know the members are concerned about. I'm concerned about it, and despite my concern, I do believe that focusing on the economy will still be uh, should be a priority. Uh, so moving on. Ooh. Oh wait, that's the end. Haha. Okay. So I'll just go back to the beginning. All right. So, all right. So I'll address some of the things that are coming off right off the bat that are addressing that final concern. So, and yes, Silk, we will develop some sort of bunker of the sorts to at least start off with. Uh, we will start off. It'll be very much so like how Valor was. We will be hidden. We'll be we'll have some sort of defensive ability, whether that be ships, uh, base defensive platforms, whatever it may be. Uh, so yeah, then moving on to Dutch's uh, messages. Let's see. Yeah. So that definitely is a concern. So something that uh, and that's where we could also do something along the lines of where certain people who tend to cause the bigger issues, uh, where those who cause more issues will just have to take a break from global, just have them take a step away, because as much as I would love to have the members regulate how much they talk in global, and to know when to step away from an argument. I know how those go, and once you get drawn into an argument, it's really hard to just walk away from it. I get that, and so at the very least, there'll probably be regulation set where it's like, okay, like you've hit this many number of arguments, like I need you to take a little break from global, uh, and then so that's probably how it will end up being. Uh, because I would love to talk in global. I would love the members to interact with other members of the server. I don't want to isolate the nation to the outside world of the server. I want them to interact with other members, but we can definitely add in some regulations where it says, "Hey, you've caused this many number of arguments within the last week." You know, we're just gonna ask that you step away from global for 2 3 days, just take a break, take a chill moment, from chat, and uh go from there. So with that, for those who are attending, are there any members who have any questions of the sorts, whether that be something we've discussed throughout this presentation, something I've said, or just other questions that can be tied to what has been discussed. Are there any other questions? If not, just say no, so then I know that you don't have any questions at the moment. If no one has questions, and then if no one has questions, we'll conclude. But looks like there might be a question coming up. Um, Oh man, I don't really know what to fill the empty space with as we wait for players. As we wait for members to ask their questions. But uh, so so of the current nation, uh, as of right now, that haven't said anything yet. So I'm predicting that there. I know there's probably another. I want just guessing. There's probably about 2 to 3, maybe 4 other members who would like to join in. They wouldn't be as active, but they would definitely join in. And so we could probably see ourselves at the most, as of right now, at the most, you could probably see the nation having 18 to 19 members uh, at the time of the post reset. Um, any other questions? Um, if you don't have any other questions, just say no in the fireside questions. How often will we have meetings for the members? It really depends. It depends on how often you guys would like to have them. Um, whether you guys want to have a fireside slash meeting every other week, every month, uh, every week. I don't know about every week. Every week is a bit strenuous, but if you want to do it like every other week, if you want to do one once a month, that's gonna be up to you guys. Uh, I'm gonna leave if there's 4 or 5, if there's like 3 or 4 of you that all want to have a discussion, uh, I will definitely plan one so we can have a discussion. So if 3 or 4 of you feel like you want to have a discussion uh, next week, I'll start setting the times for that. I will get that all going. Huh, no, not once a day, Silk. No. Uh, yeah, no. I'll leave the members up to discuss how often you guys want to. Okay, I have zero idea how many of the current players will return. Uh, I know Vega has left the server Discord. Syath has left the server Discord. Uh, I don't know. I have a feeling that a good number of the veterans will not be returning. I know Watchman has no intention of returning to the server. Oreo plans on not doing all that much post reset. So honestly, I don't know. I as of right now, I would project to say that majority of the returning members will be in the UFP and Luxivitas post reset. That those two nations alone will have majority of the player count. Any other questions uh, from any of the members? I will put in one thing here while so a bunch of members can ask their questions, even though there's only been 2 people that have asked a question so far. Um, but I know something that will probably be brought up eventually is what's going to happen with the current uh, Kingdom of Luxivitas Nation Discord, the one that's been used for the last 3 years. My plans. I know I've said this once or twice in the past. I'll say it again right now. Uh, current plan the is that it will just become an online community. So instead of it being a nation, it'll just be a community of players. Um, so then so everyone in Luxivitas right now can still stay in touch with each other. We can still play other games, other servers together. So because I want to keep the community together. I spent 3 years building and being a part and leading this community, and I don't want to break that apart just because of a server reset. I will I want to keep I want to keep the community it as a whole together as much as possible. And hopefully, it being part of an online community, we'll be able to uh, bring in other players from other games, other servers to help, just expand the size of our community. Uh, so there will definitely be a lot of changes. A lot of the channels right now will be archived. Uh, there will definitely be a lot more bots added in to help manage the online community and to help with all of those things. Uh, so that's kind of my current plan right now with the current nation Discord. The military Discord, even though I don't have owner permissions to it, Apache. Uh, but I right now, in terms of the nation post reset, the council Discord. Well, the council Discord will probably stay. Just archive. Actually, no, not really. No, the council Discord will be archived. The military. I want to have the military Discord archived as well for the post reset. The military Discord will be reopened if it is felt that if it's felt at the time of the post reset and the time after that. If it's felt like we need a whole different Discord for the military, then we'll reopen the military Discord. The Council of Luxivitas Discord will just be completely just archived and will be open to the public for public viewing. So any members who want to go into the Council Discord and read back on past discussions, past decisions, whatever it may be, the discussions they never got to see, they will be able to go back and read that so they can see all those things. That will all be open to the public. I wouldn't be concerned about that, Dutch. I mean, think about it. When I was the leader of the Hockey and Remnants, I screamed war. Tranquil Collective, I screamed peace. And I still do that. I am still the pacifist that I was back in the Tranquil Collective. Uh, I've seen too many wars. I wouldn't say about threatened, but you did heavily encourage certain things. But I mean, it didn't help that the sometimes the council was kind of got sidetracked at times in certain discussions. But I will say, 2019 was the glory day of the council. The council was very active and very busy with situations as they unfolded in 2019. All right. Are there any other questions at all? Uh, whether that be, uh, oh my goodness, Dutch. Okay. Do you have any serious questions? Does anyone have any actual questions relating to what's been discussed? Things that can tie in? Oh, Zero, Dutch, Poco, Silk. Like, do you all have any actual questions? No? No, okay, Dutch is out of questions. Zero, Poco, Silk. How about you guys? Alright. Poco, Silk, guys dead over there or don't have like any questions? Like, don't leave me hanging, guys. Oh, Poco's typing. There we go. How about you, Silk? I want to see you typing. Oh man, and when I go back and listen to this recording, I'm gonna think of myself as weird. Do you want to restate your idea for Blackular Poco? I don't entirely recall it. Would you uh, be so awesome to restate the idea? This. I get a this and a link. Okay. I'll go to the link then. for working with the nation from us. What is the policy for shipwright, settlement, defense, or mining companies not in the nation? Silk, do you wanna? Oh man. So Silk, I'm gonna see if I can decipher your question a bit. Please do tell me if I am understanding your question correctly, because I do want to give you an accurate answer. Silk, are you asking like uh other companies owned by other players if we would like buy materials from other companies not in the nation, ships, if we would get mercenaries to help defend, but basically getting companies or groups outside the nation to help with our nation. Is that the question that you're getting at? Yeah. I want to limit doing that as much as possible. I would love for the nation to be as independent as possible. We will, if need be, we will go to groups or companies, whatever it may be, to help supplement what we have. So a good example would be we could go to a mining company to help obtain resources. We may not need the resources, but we have the budget to spend on resources, and so we're going to spend them to just help increase our supply. Because it's better just having more, because the economy in the post reset will be entirely based off of materials. So we're gonna need those. We're gonna need ores, concrete, terracotta. We're gonna need those things. So we will I would like to use outside companies just to help supplement. Uh, the idea of a secret outpost for mining and blockular won't be very feasible. Uh, I'll state this here since this is kind of the convenient time to do so. Space stations post reset will be nationally regulated. It won't be impossible for the average member to build a station. It just means they have to meet certain criteria before their space station can be built. This is because since materials will be much more needed come the reset, I don't want to spend resources on space stations that are not going to fulfill the roles that we will need them to. Uh, and so, uh, yeah. So if there's going to be a space station, it's going to be regulated by the nation. It's going to have restrictions, expectations, stuff like that. And Dutch, there still will be credits. There still will be credits. But the main thing is that credit printing will be removed. Uh, and that's where materials will come into huge play in building a military and building the space stations, factories, stuff like that. We will no longer be able to credit print a fleet, a space station, all of it. All that will have to be material based. Meaning, if we want to build a 48,000 block dreadnought, we're going to have to obtain 48,000 blocks to build it. Uh, so ships and space stations are going to become much more expensive, which is why I want to focus on the economy really heavily. Because if we can get a huge factory going along, we can produce much larger ships in terms of the basic terracotta, stone brick, stuff like that. Uh, Most likely Dutch. There will be I want to say there will be a multi block that will be able to change the colors of blocks. I think it's that way already with printer. Oh no, printers is you have to print it that color. Uh, I'll see if I can get the idea of a color changer through. Just to help remove the OP-ness of slash die. But yes, If you want to print a certain color of glass, you are going to have to get that color of glass to print it, most likely. So yeah, no. So ship colors will be standardized across the entire board. I will. Uh, I won't necessarily encourage players to build their own ships. I definitely won't be bothered by it, but I will encourage members to use national ships just because they will be easier to produce because they will have specific color palettes, just so it's easier for us to produce them. Ah, okay, let's see what else Dutch has to say. Found slash unowned. Um, well, it'd be mostly with like the trade ships, mining ships, and military ships will all be standardized in terms of color of the color palettes. Uh, Scrapping ships and stations. Uh, if there's a way, uh, we can still use the scrapped materials for building bases, factories, stuff like that. Those won't have a specific color palette. There will be certain colors that will be required to be used in certain ways, just to help identify uh, and label things essentially with colors. But scrapping materials and stuff like that, that'll still be needed for building bases, factories, stuff like that. Space stations also will not have a specific color palette. They'll be encouraged to use certain colors for certain areas uh, that we can find in bulk. So let's say there's a large portion of a station that you can't go into. Will They'll be encouraged to use the same color of concrete or terracotta or whatever it may be. Uh, that the standardized ships would use, just because we can get that in bulk. So more or less, only use color for what you can see. Whatever you cannot see, use the standardized colors, just so it's easier to produce more of that material. Just waiting on Dutch right now. I also do want to thank Wouter for suggesting OBS. I got OBS installed this morning. I played around with it a little bit to see how it worked, and I was able to get it working pretty quickly, um, which has enabled me to actually do this fireside. Yeah. Um, we will definitely find a way to utilize all the materials we can get our hands on. Standardized colors for stuff won't necessarily come until much later when we actually have the materials. But like early on, ships will probably just be mismatched colors and parts, uh, because we won't have any way to get this more air quote standardized parts en masse. Uh, so we'll find ways, even in the later stages, we will find ways to utilize any scraps of space stations or ships we obtain. If there's a way, if there's a will, there's a way. Other than that, is there any other questions at all? No, any questions from Silk, Poco, Dutch, Zero? Guys, got any other questions at all? Okay, Zero says no. Poco Silk. I know Dutch is typing right now. Poco Silk G, you guys have any questions right now? Poco is typing. No, no, they will not touch. So the question Dutch asked for those of you uh, who will be watching this via YouTube later, Dutch asked if alpha plots, beta plots, and space plots would be affected in any way, shape, or form by the reset, and the answer is no. Creative will be untouched. The only thing that's being reset is survival. Uh, should espionage should be used in war? I've never really utilized spies at all myself in wars. I've never really seen a need for wars. I mean, for spies in a war. I just haven't had the need. Uh, hey, Pika, you came in right at the end. Yeah, we're kind of closing out right now. It's all right, Pika. Hey, Pika, do you have any general questions at all? I'll let you know if I answered or not. If you just have other like random questions, ask them in Fireside Questions, which is a channel just below the chatting. Uh, do you have any general questions at all, Pika? I'm curious. You're a much more vocal person uh, compared to some of the others, and I say that as a good thing. I'm a very vocal person myself at times, so being vocal is a good thing sometimes. If you know when to stop, awesome. If you don't, well, okay, that's kind of where the issues arise. I just wanted to grab some temporary sustenance. I haven't had an actual meal all day long, so I'm kind of hungry. Yeah, no, I'll be eating at my parents in like an hour and a half. So don't worry about my hunger. I'm just eating flavored popcorn to hold me through. Uh, PvP will PvP will be getting some tweaks in the post reset. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna die. Hey, Pika. Oh, you got any questions at all? Yeah, no. Yeah, I know. There's gonna be some changes. I don't know all the changes. It's obviously too far out from the update to know all of them. Uh, I have been given the admin permissions for the wiki. So the wiki will be updated. I will. You're the first kind of large group of people to know that I will be able to do full updates to the wiki uh, by myself. I don't need anyone else now. Well, I'll need help people to help write things, but aside from that, kind of got it under control now. Uh, any questions at all? Anything? Any questions from? Because Zero said no. Poco already left. Uh, Silk hasn't said anything, so I'm gonna assume he doesn't have questions. Pika, do you have any general questions you want to ask? And okay, there you go. We've been at this for an hour and 20 minutes. I feel so bad. for people. But it's nice that those of you who have stayed through the whole thing, I am very grateful that you guys have stuck through this. It helps me know that I'm not the only one who believes, and I know not everyone is able to attend, but it helps assure me, that I'm not the only one, that I don't stand alone in this. Okay, well, so Pika, I do go over this in the actual theme, uh, but I'll just tell you, I'll just kind of just tell you, you'll have to go back into the video to actually listen to me explain it. But my solution uh, with neutrality is having a defensive pact. That will be my solution. Is developing a defensive pact with other nations. And so, in the event that a new Vega does rise, if that new Vega decides to attack any member of that defensive pact, we all would respond with war. So that's going to be the solution, uh, which would allow us to be more independent, but also still have extra help apart from just ourselves. Uh, so in terms of specific section, the economy will focus on, it will depend. Uh, Obviously, what area of the economy we'll be focusing on will be interchanging as time goes. Uh, so that's just something that's just kind of change over the course of time. Uh, and it will bounce back and forth depending on the situation we're in, politically, and other things like that. Yes, the pack will just be for defense. So everyone will be neutral with each other, unless other nation part of the pack want to be allies. But otherwise, everyone will be neutral at the very least with each other. And then in the event that one of us is attacked, we will all ally each other, and so that we can communicate better for the war. And then we all defend each other. So let's say, example. So let's say the UFP was a part of the pact. If the UFP gets attacked first, uh, then we, as Luxivitas, would go and defend them and help them fight the war. If UFP attacks first, we would not help them in the war. Meaning, so yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind it. Be right back. Oh no, Pika. I kind of want to wrap this up a bit. um, I love talking with all the members though. I love, even though you're not saying anything in the voice chat. It's nice being able to address you guys again. I haven't addressed the nation as a whole in any way, shape, or form in terms of big things like this for a long time. It's definitely something I miss doing. This is something I'm very passionate about. I care for a lot of people. I care about a lot of you in terms of your in real life situations. Yeah, we're all just people over the internet, but I it doesn't mean I'm any less concerned about you guys. Uh, so if no one else has anything, I guess we'll be ending the first Luxivitian Fireside. Um, have a good night, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you live. And let's stay in touch. Let's figure out when we want to have our next fireside. And this is the High Keen Nightingale Burr signing out.